RV app. When you ever leave a light on, this app comes in handy.
We're Mika and Reggie, camping newbies intrigued by the RV lifestyle. He's a concrete camper
who loves concrete pads, manicured lawns, and beautiful views.
And I'm the concrete glamper. I love campsite decor, and more is more. On the weekends, we've moved from the couch to camping. And as Southerners, we always tow our hospitality and charm as we chase the sun, sand, and sea
in our RV.
We have returned for the evening, and we'll spend the rest of the afternoon just relaxing and enjoying a little bit of our outside setup. But in reference to this location, it continues to be very quiet. I think that is a bonus. Well, good morning. It is the perfect time for me to walk over and show you the pool while no one is here yet. It's been a very popular place, as you can imagine, with folks are here, but wanted to show you it. So this is the entrance of the resort when you come in, and that's check-in. This is the pool area. It's a nice, quaint size. It's about 5 feet deep on the far end. And then I'll swing you back around. And they have some tables and some loungers and some chairs out. And then there's also restroom facilities, and they do have wash facilities on site as well. And then if you swing around, they do have this fire pit area. As you know, in Florida, a lot of places do not allow you to have fires at your campsites, and so this is more of a communal fire area that they have it on sand, and so that's really nice, as well, with some Adirondack chairs. And then that's essentially it. There's a couple tables with umbrellas here as well. You can see someone is headed out this morning. That's actually prime location for proximity to the pool, but you can also see, more importantly, most of these sites are big rig friendly. There is no problem with the larger rigs getting in here. So one added benefit that they do provide is a shuttle bus that primarily takes you to the beach. Although we did not use it, the gentleman mentioned at the front office that the way that it works is they take you down to the Santa Rosa Beach entranceway, drop you off, and then when you're ready, they'll come back and pick you up. And then this is also a front look at the office. Not much inside. It's your typical check-in. They don't have any type of RV store inside, no merchandise. A lot of resorts have a convenience area where they'll provide, small things that you may need for your RV. They do not have any of those services. One thing to note, that this is located off of a county highway that gets a lot of traffic. There's also some small industrial offices along this highway that occasionally during the week you would hear noise from some of the larger trucks that come through, but nothing terribly distracting. But just know if you're staying in the locations at the front, you definitely hear that road noise. And so one thing that I found very surprising, that when we stopped by when they were first constructing this, that we thought, hey, maybe they just hadn't installed them yet, were picnic tables. There are no picnic tables at your site. These are 2 of the 4 that you can find throughout. I find that slightly surprising, only because they are calling themselves a luxury resort, and so with that name, there's just certain level of expectations. And so in terms of the configuration, it's pretty standard, where in the middle are your pull-throughs. That's what we're in. And then along the outer edges of the resort are where there are back ends on both sides. The pool ends is pretty standard. It is full hookups. Nothing special about any of their hookups of location. I believe they also offer you a little bit of cable. And just for location on the map, this is site number 76, and this is one that is located right at the entrance and across from the pool. And we are in 72. So proximity is still right across the street from the pool. We haven't used it because we've been out and about of other places, but I would recommend the site. Just for a few call outs in terms of sites, if being close to the pool is important to you, if you were to visit here, sites 1 and 2, they also could be considered a buddy site because they're so close together in terms of proximity, but there's a lot of space between the physical sites. This is site number 1, and this is site number 2, and those back up to the fire pit area and the pool area. And I would say in terms of prime location, those 2 would be considered prime location. Other than that, because there are no other amenities, I wouldn't say that there's any other prime spots. It's just a matter of if you're just trying to get in and out, if it's an overnight stay, if you want to be further back from the street noise. So this is the entrance way again, and I'll swing. And so really anything further back, you're good to go. It's just a matter of whether you want to be by the fence line or if you want a pull through in the center. And here's another look at the sites. I will call something out. So I'm walking through site number 64. It's a back end site while it's pretty deep, but sites on this side, they back up to, I guess it's kind of a gully that leads to the retention pond. And so it's great for if you have dogs, but something to be mindful for. I would assume there are maybe some mosquitoes or bugs that are associated with being right next to a retention pond, or you could find it very beautiful. There are lily pads, and then this entire gully leads to a larger retention pond in the back. And so you could see this is one of 2 ways. It could be something very nice to sit out and look at, or it could be something that you would be concerned about. In our case, just because, I'm so tuned in and heightened to bugs. We chose not to stand up against the fence line because there was concern of if there was going to be some increased bugs or frogs or just what have you that may be attracted to the water. So that's why we chose to stick with the pull-throughs in the center. And then there are a couple spots like 63 and 61 that sit by these utility boxes. So that's something to, think about if it is super crowded. Note that those two locations sit by a utility box. There's another set further down, but again, it's not blocking a view. There really is no view. I'll spin you around. And so you have these utility boxes throughout the resort, and so that's just something to be mindful of. An indication of what it backs up to. On one side, there's a business in the distance. We were here throughout the week and on the weekend, so that did not bother us at all. We didn't hear any extra noise from those businesses. As you can see, it's not full. Actually, it's thinned out. There were, I would say, a handful more people here yesterday that have moved out since it's the weekend. The only other amenity that they have is in this building. If you were needing some type of a gathering area, there's a big open clubhouse space, if you want to call it that, if you needed it for a meeting space or something. And then there are showers and restrooms attached to a separate entrance, but a part of that building. So this is what I was referencing. This is the larger, I'm going to call it a retention pond area that they have some lily pads in and some other greenery in to make it more decorative. And so it backs up to the clubhouse area and then this site location. So again, it really depends on how you view it, that it could be considered a water view. Or maybe something that may deter you. Well, good morning. We are getting an early start today. Today is a travel day, and we are headed back home. It looks like we may have gotten a little bit of light rain last night based off of the car and the rig, and then there was a little bit dewiness in the street. But one interesting thing that we were offered here at this location was something called sensible weather. It was the first time that I have ever heard of it. And so essentially it was weather insurance. And so we did take advantage of it. I think I signed up maybe by accident, but it was really unique in terms of it tracked your weather from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day. And it was based off of the forecast. And if 1.5 millimeter of rain was forecast during that period of time, it triggered your insurance coverage. And then if more than 3 hours of rain was predicted during your day of stay, you received 100% reimbursement from your stay. And so they offer that. I received emails about it on a daily basis, and the emails essentially would say, we're watching the weather, but today's weather did not trigger any type of your insurance. And so that was the first time that we had encountered that. And although it was not needed, that's a bonus because we were able to enjoy every day that we were here. And so that was fantastic. But something I'm intrigued, had you guys ever heard of that before? But it was certainly our very first time. And so if given the option again at another location, depending on the time of year that we would be RVing, I definitely would think about it. So overall, I would say as it relates to the location, we had a fantastic time. I really think this is considered a gateway to the area that we love, which is, of course, 30A area on this part of the Panhandle. In terms of it being considered a resort, it's just not resort in terms of amenities. The small type of details. For instance, you have to dump your own trash to a dumpster. There's only two. One is in the very front, one is in the very back. There's no dog parks. There's just no amenities other than the pool. And there's just so many other things now that RV resorts are offering to be considered and what the expectation is for it to be a true resort. But that being said, it's very clean. It is pretty quiet other than the occasional road noise, depending on the time of day that you're outside. And there were no issues. It has filled up now that we have been into the weekend. So there are folks who are using it for, just like we did, a couple days here to get to the area with friends. Some folks are just using it for overnight. Would we come back? Likely so. Again, if we were coming to this area of the Panhandle, this is one of the few places, is probably the newest that you can stay here, but it's not a destination. And so I just want to be very clear about that for those of you who may be traveling in this area. But in terms of proximity to the beach in this area, it's not walkable, it's not bikeable, but driving, you're probably about 5-10 minutes, and that's really because of lights and traffic getting in and out of the Santa Rosa Beach area. But coming out of the resort, take a right, you cross over Highway 98 and you dead end into the Gulf of Mexico.
RV app. When you ever leave a light on, this app comes in handy.
Well, that is it from the beautiful Sunshine State here in Florida. Until next time, we'll continue to chase the sun, sand, and sea in our RV.